There's something strangely peaceful about farming in Second Life. Not even in an ironic way either. You know, you log in thinking you're just going to check on your crops for a few minutes, and suddenly an hour disappears while you're watering your tomatoes, organizing your supplies, and listening to ambient music while the sun sets over your little virtual land. It gives you a routine, and routines can be comforting, especially in a world that constantly wants your attention every second. Out here, though, things move slower. You feed the animals, you check the fields, you grab the water barrels. Maybe you harvest a few crops, and maybe you'll even bring them to market later. Nothing urgent, nothing loud, just small tasks that somehow feel satisfying every single time. And honestly, the sound design helps a lot too. You know, depending on the shoes you're wearing, you can have some soft footsteps, or maybe the wind moving through the trees. Little farming sounds. Even little interface noises can become weirdly comforting after a while. It turns into this cozy little rhythm. I think a lot of people outside of Second Life don't really understand why virtual worlds can feel meaningful. But spaces like this become little escapes. Not escapes from reality completely. More like places to breathe for a while. You can build your own corner of the world exactly how you want it. Maybe you make yourself a rustic farm. Maybe it's a fantasy cottagecore garden. Maybe it's a cyberpunk greenhouse floating over the ocean. And then you spend time there, not rushing, just existing. That's rare online now. Everything everywhere else feels optimized for speed and engagement and notifications. Meanwhile, I'm over here worrying about, whether or not I've watered my potatoes. And somehow that feels healthier. There's also something satisfying about progress in farming systems like GNS. Not instant progress, slow progress. You plant things, you maintain them, you come back later and you see the results. It feels like you've earned it. And weirdly enough, I think that scratches the same itch that games like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing do. Except in Second Life, it feels more personal because the world is shared with real people. You'll fly past someone else's farm and suddenly get inspired to redesign your own land. Or you'll visit a market and discover entirely new crops or decorations, or someone random just stops by and compliments your setup. And those little interactions make the world feel alive. And honestly, sometimes farming in Second Life becomes less about the farming itself and more about the atmosphere around it. Like the music that you have playing, the avatar that you're wearing right now, the lighting, which changes everything, the weather settings, the late night vibe after midnight when the grid feels, I don't know, a little quieter. It becomes almost meditative. I especially love those moments where you're just moving through your farm while music plays softly in the background and everything feels calm for once. There's no pressure to compete. There's no leaderboard, no stress. Just tending to your little digital life. And I think people underestimate how important cozy experiences are. Not every game needs explosions every 5 seconds. Sometimes you just want to exist somewhere beautiful for a while. And that's what Second Life has always done really well. It gives people space to create the exact mood that they want. And farming systems like GNS fit perfectly into that feeling. You build routines around your virtual home, you know? You develop attachment to places. You start recognizing neighbors. You slowly shape your land into something uniquely yours. And before you realize it, logging in to water crops starts feeling genuinely comforting after a long day. I know some people hear virtual farming and think it sounds pointless, but honestly, relaxing is never pointless. Finding little moments of peace online isn't pointless. Creating cozy spaces isn't pointless. If anything, I think more games should embrace slower experiences like this. Because sometimes the best moments in gaming aren't intense at all. Sometimes it's just the sound of water, soft music, a sunset over your farm, and quietly harvesting crops in Second Life while the world just slows down for a little while. All right, everyone. Well, I think that's where I'm going to end today's little farming session in Second Life. Honestly, this was exactly the kind of relaxing vibe I needed. Just some peaceful farming, quiet atmosphere, and a chance to slow down for a while. If you enjoyed hanging out with me, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and let me know what kind of Second Life content you would like to see next. I always love hearing about your favorite places, systems, and cozy little routines in world. And if you're out there farming too, I hope your crops stay healthy, your animals stay fed, and your land keeps getting more beautiful every time you log in. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.